football being football, Rob, if we were speaking 7 days ago, we would have been talking about great start to the season. So Sunday is just one game, 90 minutes, but how much of a setback was it for the players' confidence, if nothing else?
Well, firstly, I think it is still, with the result, it's still a good start to the season. I think we'd have all, I think if you'd have asked at the start of the season after that many games, if we were on 11 points, I think we'd all be fairly happy. Of course, we're disappointed with the result on Sunday, but we have to look at ourselves and take responsibility for that. You can't expect to win games of football if you defend set pieces that way and give away set pieces in the way that we did. So we have to take that one on the chin. We've trained well, though. We've responded well on the training pitch, but it's all about how we respond in our next game.
Because I'd back you to win 100 headers on a match day. I mean, just to concede 3 goals from 3 set pieces, is that just me putting 2 and 2 together and making 5, or is it something you've worked on training this week?
What do you mean in terms of defending set pieces again? Well, to be honest, before this weekend, our defensive set pieces have been at a really good standard. So it's one of those. It's happened once, and we'll address it. But we won't do anything too drastically different before the next game in our defensive set pieces, because we know that before the weekend we've defended them well. It's just it wasn't acceptable at the weekend, but we'll definitely look to put it right this weekend. Yeah,
I mean, does it add any determination at all going up to Lancashire on Saturday to put right the wrongs, if you like?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does. And that's ultimately, football is decided in both boxes. So we'll have an added edge in both boxes at the weekend.
And there were extenuating circumstances. Sometimes you just need things to go your way. So to lose Rob to injury early on, how much did that affect the performance on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it does in terms of like the balance at the back, in terms of having like left-footed players in left-sided positions and stuff like that. Of course, whoever, we brought George on, and we know we can trust George, and he's a good player, but it just does affect the balance, I think, a little bit. And I think more of the setbacks were just the sort of early goals, the goal that was conceded from the set piece, and we didn't really start great generally in general play. So that was more that affected us a bit more than it should have, really.
Saturday should be a cracker, shouldn't it? Preston have started the season well. What do you make of the game at Deepdale this weekend?
Yeah, they've started the season well, similarly to us. And talking about set pieces, that will be a big part of the game at the weekend. That we know that they're a physical side, got some good technical players, and every game in the Championship brings so many challenges, and we know that we need to be right at it to come away with something.
Yeah, and we spoke a few weeks ago on Sound of the City. How pleased are you to be playing games and playing well personally?
Yeah, no, very happy. It's what I love doing, is playing football, and it, under a good manager that I believe in. Feel like the club have done well in recruiting another good manager that has got some really good sort of thoughts, and he's implemented his style of play really early, and he knows what he wants from us. We know what he wants from us, so as long as we're all singing off the same hymn sheet, which we have been, it should be successful for us.
And Rob, Emil Rees facing his former club. Maybe it's strange asking a defender about a striker, but how has he settled in? What has he added to Bristol City? Because there'll be a lot of attention on him, I guess, from the home stands this weekend.
No, well, it's not really strange asking me about a striker, to be fair, because I've played against him, so I know how difficult he can make life for defenders. I think he started really well. What he does do is he occupies more than one defender, so that I think because he does that, I think you see players like Anis and Scott Twine, or whoever else plays in those positions, maybe Yuhiro Kawa, you can see them thrive off it a little bit, because he will definitely drag a couple of defenders along with him. So he's a physical presence. He's got good pace in behind. I think he's had a good start to the season, definitely.
I mean, having faced Oxford last weekend, do you enjoy playing against former clubs?
I guess so, but no more than any game, really, to be honest. Obviously, it's nice to see some former teammates and stuff afterwards. It's always a lot nicer to see them when you've won. But I look forward to every game. I enjoy football, so.
And it's occurred to me, I mean, we're weeks into the season, and I think you've only played 6 matches, but big week coming up because you've got a Tuesday fixture as well. So 9 points up for grabs? Do things start kind of go up a gear now, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. It's still very early on to look at the table and think, all right, who's going to be up there, who's not. It's a bit too early for that, but you certainly want to. It's nice to be up there, and and it is a good opportunity to go into the next international break with a good amount of points behind us.
Good luck on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, just to touch on the set pieces on Sunday again. Can you guys put your finger on what exactly didn't quite work? Because, like you say, it's been something you've really thrived with so far this season.
Just a couple of things, like for their first goal, the lads had a free header just literally right in front of our goal, and he's just got through our sort of initial line of 4 or 5, just too easily. It's simple as that. He should be, if he's going to get through that line, he should be coming out, with bumps and bruises really. So it's just things like that. It's just getting that edge back in our own box. You against your man or whoever it is, and you need to win that individual duel, which we have done most of the season.
Is it something you guys have worked on attacking as well? Because I know Gerhard's mentioned them a lot, and I think on Sunday there were a couple of headers and chances where, those sort of margins. Yeah,
definitely. We work on set pieces, are a huge part of the game, and we work on both sides.
On your own fitness, I know you came off at Hillsborough. How are you at the moment?
I had a bruise in my calf that was just like niggling away at me for a bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's completely fine now. That's settled down.
How have you assessed your start of the season? Obviously a bit weird when you're suspended for the first game with that big stretch of pre-season, knowing you're not going to be able to play.
No, obviously very disappointed to have not been able to be a part of that first game, but I think I've slotted back in quite well. Got some. I think as a team, we got some really. With the additions we've made, with a really good, with Radek coming in, he's been a great addition. Emil's been a great addition at the other end of the pitch. So at both ends of the pitch, we've made some really good additions. So I feel quite good, and I feel good and confident in myself, and I think this is a team that is ready again to push up that top 6.
Rob Atkinson's probably felt like a bit in the addition. Am I right in thinking this?
Definitely, yeah. This season must be. I think it has been the first time I've played with him. Yeah, and I've been here for 2 years. It's nice to see him. I know, of course, he came off early in the game, and fingers crossed he'll be all right. But it's nice to see him because I know him personally. I was with him at Oxford United for a while, and he's a really good guy. He's a good bloke, and I wish good health on him. So it's nice to see him playing.
You mentioned Radek there. What sort of difference has he made? Because I think he's someone who's really caught the eye in the first month or so.
Yeah, he's coming from a big club. He's going to have some pressure on himself, but I think he's handled that pressure really well. He's a commanding goalkeeper. I think you'll notice towards the end of a lot of the games is he'll command his box and he'll come and catch the ball, and it just relieves a lot of stress off of that phase of play. Especially when you're winning late on, and he's been good. Yeah.
You mentioned Gerhard, how much you've enjoyed working with him and how good the recruitment is. What's different about the way he manages it all? Can you give us a bit of a insight into what he's like on the training ground?
Yeah, of course, every manager is different, and the main thing is you have to, I think, as a manager, from what I've learned, is you need to be yourself, and he certainly has been. He's very intense with us out on the pitch, which is great. I think is what we need. If our intensity in the training doesn't match what he's like, then he'll soon let us know, and that's perfect. It's great. It's not. There's so much clarity in what he wants from us, and if we're not meeting his expectations, he'll let us know, and I think that's perfect. That's ideal for me personally, and I think we're handling well as a group. But he also, at the same time, he makes you feel 10 feet tall sometimes. He's very. He fills you with a lot of confidence, and the main thing for me is like I've said before, he knows exactly what he wants. So it's easy. It's easy to refer back to what he wants when you're sort of analysing your game or thinking about your game. So yeah, Gerhard's made a really good start.
It was interesting after the game at Sheffield Wednesday. He spoke about the mentality away from home and kind of shifting your guys' view sometimes about wanting to go and win every game. Is that something? How much of an impact's that made?
He wants us to go and he doesn't want us to sort of be any less intense away from home than we might be at home. I know last year our home form was amazing, and we did really well at home. I think teams started to feel like they were coming to a very difficult place, and we want to keep that this year definitely. But we also we need to be picking up more points on the road, and we have done so far. So I think that's just what he means by it. We need to go after some more points than we picked up last year.
I guess it must give you guys confidence that you started the season in that manner as well, away from home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And you are, I think Wednesday in particular, you really imposed your style on the game early on, those sort of opening stages away from home. How much of an impact can you make it?
It's huge because I think you see it has a huge impact on the whole game, because this weekend, for example, against Oxford United, I would say was probably, apart from Charlton at home, it was probably the first game where we haven't really taken our early chances. And when we take our early chances, when you do take your early chances and you go a goal up or 2 goals up, it really changes how the other team has to sort of, then go about the game. So all of their sort of like week's work kind of goes out the window, and it changes everything, and that really suits us because we kind of thrive off that, and we like to be relentless and keep going and going for more goals.
You mentioned the next international break and kind of the block of games leading up to that. Have you guys as a group set any targets for where you want to be at that stage?
To be honest, no, we haven't. We've kind of taken, it's like such a cliche, but we're kind of taking each game as it comes, and that's worked for us so far. And we want to put what happened on Sunday, we want to put that right this Saturday.
Cheers.
Rob, just to pick you up on something you said earlier about Gerhard, where does he rank in terms of coaches that you've had or managers that you've had?
All I would say is he's right up there. Like he's an excellent coach. He brings a lot. He brings a lot of personality and energy, and so far I've been very impressed with him.
Yeah, and do you feel like he's improving you as a player and other players in this squad as well?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because I think if you don't, like I said, just off of training alone, if you're not meeting his standards, then he'll let you know. So you have to really be up. Your standards have to be very high at every minute of every session and every game, and that can only improve players.
Now, after the match on Sunday, obviously the first time this team suffered defeat in the league this season, can you give us a bit of an insight into, how was the dressing room atmosphere?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was obviously the worst it's been because it was the first time we've lost. It was quite down, but he was very much in the sort of, his thought process was, wasn't a good enough day. We've had a bad day at the office. We can all look each other in the eye and we know that, but we cannot dwell on that. We've got another game coming. We have to still keep the confidence from the games before this. We'll address what's happened today, but we have to just get back on track and train hard this week and be ready to attack Preston North End.
Yeah, and talking about that match, obviously last season it was a great win. An interesting goal, and then an amazing goal.
It was.
What are your thoughts on it?
No, we had a really good game there, and you have to be. It's a really difficult place to go. You have to be really, really on top of your game. Otherwise, the game will be on their terms, and that's not what you want. So we'll look to get the game on our terms, and we need to be just that few % sharper than we were the weekend just gone.